Hey guys, today for your math homework, I should get that page. For your math homework and your page, you need to be in your math book on page number 239. You need a pencil and a ruler. Okay, so go get your math book, a pencil, and if you have a ruler at home, go ahead and grab that. If not, then we'll figure something else out. I know that's something we forgot to take home. So you need your math book, page 239, pencil, ruler, go. Alright, so page 239 is where we are. This is a lesson and a practice all in one. So we're going to learn about something called scale drawings. Now whether you're familiar with it or not, again we're on page 239, you probably are, even if you don't realize it. When we use our map, there's the different distances. We've talked about it before, like 1 inch equals this many miles, and then that's how you can tell how far across Pennsylvania is, or different things like that. So we've talked about it before in class. I hope that you remember it. If not, I understand. But looking at page 239, about scale drawings, look at the yellow box right up here. This is what your page should look like, okay? The fact about scale drawings: a scale drawing of a map is used to show long distances in small amounts of space. 1 inch can represent many miles. So everything, just like a map has a key that tells you what different things and different features are on their map, a scale drawing will always have a scale. Our scale on this example, you can see it down in the right-hand corner of that yellow box. 1 inch equals 1 mile. So it'll tell you it's just a smaller form so that we can actually figure things out and be able to know distances between different spaces. Okay, so really all we have to do is just dive right in and start measuring. If you have a ruler, this is where you're going to want to need it because you need the inches, okay? I don't have it, so we're just going to pretend like I do, okay? All right, so if we're looking at it, class practice, find the distance of the following. Use your ruler to measure. Always measure along the lines, okay? So letter A, they want to know how far is it from the post office to the store. Now if you were to get out your ruler and you were going to measure that line on your page, my board is different because I have it bigger, but if you were to measure this, if you have your ruler, go ahead and do that right now. It is going to be 1 inch, okay? 1 inch from the post office to the store. Now we know that 1 inch on this scale equals how much? A mile. So it is actually 1 mile from the post office to the store. Okay, 1 mile. You can go ahead and fill this in. Can you see that? Is that far enough? Let me scoot it in a little bit closer. I'd rather you see this than me. So, okay. Letter B, jumping over from church to Ted's house. So next we have to find church here, and we have to find Ted's house here. Okay, so if you were to measure with your ruler, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to measure from church to Bob's house, and then from Bob's house to Ted's house. Okay, go ahead and measure that if you can. All right, so this one from church to Bob's house is 1 3/4 inch, right? Okay, and then from Bob's house to Ted's house is 1 inch. So if you add 1 inch plus 1 3/4 inch, how much is the total from church all the way to Ted's house? It is 2 3/4 miles. 3/4 miles. That is correct. 2 3/4 of a mile. Okay, my line's really small right there. Please be following along with this even if you don't have a ruler, so then you can kind of tell. Okay, let's jump down to letter C, from Ted's house to the store. So we already know that we have to go from Ted's house here to the post office and then to the store because you have to follow the line. So we already know that it's 1 mile or 1 inch, 1 mile from post office to the store. So we can just measure from Ted's house to the post office and then add that 1 without having to measure twice. Work smarter, not harder. So if we measured from Ted's house to the post office, it is going to be 1.5 miles or 1.5 inches, which equals 1.5 miles, okay? So we have 1.5 from Ted's house to the post office, 1 from the post office to the store. So 1.5 plus 1 equals 2.5. Very good. 2.5 miles. Remember, because we're converting. Okay, now we need to go, letter D, from Bob's house to Ted's house. Bob's house is here, Ted's house is here, and we already found the measurement. It's 1. So 1 inch equals what? In our scale, 1 inch equals 1 mile. Okay, good. So let's jump down. I'm forgetting my periods. Yikes. Okay, let's jump down to letter E, from the church to the post office. Okay, so this is a lot of measuring, but we already have it all done. Okay, so we're going from the church all the way up to the post office, right? So we need to go, the church to Bob's house is 1 3/4 mile. 1 3/4. I'm going to do this down here. Okay. The Bob's house to Ted's house is 1 inch. From Ted's house to the post office is 1 1/2. So we have to add all 3 of those together. Now what we need to do is find common denominators. So we have 3/4. 4 is going to be my common denominator. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Make my equivalent fraction. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times what is 4? 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So let's add those. 3 plus 2 is 5. Can you see that? It might be a little. There's a little bit more. Okay, so 5/4 here, which is improper. We need to make it proper. It's going to be 1 1/4. It's hard to draw sideways like this. Okay, so I need to add my 1 1/4 up here to carry. So I'm going to have 4 and 1/4. Okay, so from the church to the post office is 4 1/4 miles. You just have to add everything together, okay? And then we need to go from Ted's to the ball field. So we already know from Ted's to the post office is 1 1/2. Then from the post office to the store is 1. Okay, so we have 2 1/2 so far. Now we need to measure to see how far is the store from the ball field. Go ahead and use your rollers to do that. How far is the store to the ball field? It is 2 1/2 miles. No, it's not. It's 1 1/2 miles. Sorry, I heard somebody coming. I had to wait and see if they came to the door or not. I think we're good. Okay, so it's 1 1/2 inches from the store to the ball field. So now we need to add these all together. So we have 1 1/2 plus 1 1/2 plus 1. Okay, 1 plus 1 is 2/2, which is a whole number. Bring it up there. 4 is your total. 4 miles. All right, this is really hard to do without rulers and without you guys being here, but I have full confidence that you're going to be able to do it, and we will practice some more tomorrow, okay? So we just did that all together. Your homework is to finish page 239 to 240. Let me look and see if it's black or, oh, hold on 1 second. It is the black number, so 239 finished, 240 black. That should be it for scale drawings today, but I will see you for language.